Maayong buntag sa tanan. Good morning and to our media partners and friends. Thank you very much for coming today. Siguro this day will be a different session muna before we will go to the other mga items na critical to information sa atong public. Karon, hopefully, sa atong tanan, kaning ato ang murag info session na hinuon, this is for us, for media practitioners, to our interns, ang mga estudyante na diri karon. It's very critical na we should learn about these things. So, mahimot, magkaroon tayo ng konting info session lang, and then pwede magkaroon tayo ng sharing if you have any questions. We'll try to answer them. And then, the next part of the press con will be the presence of our DTI. I believe na mas daghan mo concerns dito. So, as we celebrate ng Good March, Women's Month, our women today, the brave women of the media sector, thank you for continuously doing your best no to provide public information sa ato mga katawhan and being a model no of women empowerment. Dagan kayo diri. Nagka-chika lang na sila dito sa likod. Pero paminaw na sila. So that's the power of women. So at this point, Rudolph, go ahead. Thank you for coming here today. We hope we could have more people coming in. May konting pa-lunch kami para at least hindi kayo aalis kagad.
Okay, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat and welcome to another edition of Kapehan sa Davao here at the second floor of SMCT Davao, SMCT Annex. We'd like to thank again SMCT Davao for again hosting our weekly media forum. We have actually two parts. No, the first part, Sir Rene, our regional director of PIA 11, will be talking about gender fair media reporting, and Ma'am Attorney Gladys Joy Almazan De Leon, Assistant Regional Prosecutor of the DOJ, will be talking about Safe Spaces Act. Preliminary to sa actually, part 2 is the main press con. We have the DTI 11 Consumer Protection Division, Sir Romeo and Vasquez, the Division Chief of the CPD DTI 11, and Father Richie Gamaya, Director of Diocesan Social Committee, and also the resident priest of San Pablo Parish. We'll be talking about the Archbishop Thibault Media Award or ATMA. So yun, we have second part natin na topic is price monitoring of basic goods and price commodities and the Archbishop Thibault Media Award. But before we go to the main news, we go to itong Safe Spaces Act and Gender Fair Monitor Reporting kasi part of the National Women's Month celebration para PIA. We start with, we'd like to get the opening statement. We start with Sir Rene.
Sige. May buntag, this may be a very unique setup na to, no? Kasi pag info session, it will take longer time. So may I ask for your indulgence siguro for a few minutes lang para to introduce to you what this Gender Fair Media Guidebook that I'm sure lahat tayo are familiar. Sino pong familiar sa Gender Fair Media Guidebook ng Philippine Commission on Women? Hindi kayo familiar? Ma'am John B, hindi rin kayo familiar sa Gender Fair Media Guidebook? Oh, okay. So that's strange. Sorry. So nag-assume ako nag-assume ako na meron. Sige. Familiar ka, hindi ka familiar, but this is the Gender Fair Media Guidebook is developed by the Philippine Commission on Women. Way back, nag-start siya ng 2010, and then nagkaroon ng updating of the Media Guidebook noong 2017. So, this Gender Fair Media Guidebook or Handbook of 2017 is developed by the PCW and the Media and Gender Equality Committee that seeks to eliminate gender stereotyping and promote gender balance in the participation and representation of women and men across various forms of media and communication. So this guidebook is downloadable po siya. You go visit the PCW website and then search nyo lang po ang Gender Fair Media Guidebook. So, medyo manipis lang man din siya, but you can see and read a lot of practical guidelines on how to do your media work in order for us to shape a better or a more gender fair na media reporting. So, these are just reminders for all of us. So, the Gender Fair Media Guidebook is a practical reference for the media in recalibrating our practices to promote gender sensitivity in our reporting, in all our core processes, including conceptualization, script writing pa lang daan. No, pag-conceptualize pa lang ng mga video reporting natin, na-incorporate natin na medyo may pagka-gender sensitive na tayo sa mga whatever visuals, whatever language na ipoportray natin about women or men is basically gender fair. Okay? Including mga creations, presentation, and distribution of media products. So this also acts as a guide for media practitioners, students, and communicators to produce balanced, non-discriminatory, and empowering media. So, siguro parang context na lang. When we do coverage, when you do media reporting, usually, sino ang subjects natin pag sa mga media reports during disasters, for example? May mga ayuda program. Sino yung usually nalalapitan natin para ma-interview? Usually women. Okay, number one, women talaga. Pag makausap natin, why is it? Bakit si women? Bakit si babae ang palaging nakakausap, napoportray? For example, pag may disaster, si media, may tendency na hanapin niya babae or children na iportray sa mga, usually the victims of disasters and calamities. Bakit sila palagi? So, pag sila lang ang nakikita ng media, ang mga kalalakihan ba, hindi ba din ba sila victims din? So, bakit ganun yung concept? So, meaning, may mga tendencies tayo as media practitioners, although this is not only for media, but for the entire society ng Philippines, may tendency na yung stereotyping natin. May stereotyping tayo. So, we're trying to reduce itong impacts of stereotypes. So, pag may disaster, usually hanapin natin babae kasi pareha. Pero alam naman natin, why the preference natin ng babae? Kasi si babae is very expressive. Mas nakaka-kwento siya ng kanilang mga experiences compared to men. I'm sure experience natin yan sa mga media practitioners. Di ba? Pag lalaki, parang medyo, paano muna, siguro sir, hindi lang muna ako, siguro pwedeng asawa ko ang kausapin nyo, yung mga ganon. So, those are important factors kung bakit si babae ang palagi natin na-interview. So, what we are just saying here, sa guidebook na develop ng PCW, let us not also ignore the facts na may mga stories din ang mga kalalakihan during these times of calamities. So, hindi lang palagi si babae ang na-highlight. No? So, those are some examples that we as media practitioners should be mindful of all the time whenever we present or when we do representations of individuals, whether babae, lalaki, or even children in our society. More importantly, pag LGBTQ, no, ano po portray. Sige. So, ano yung mga key aspects lang, no? Very short, no? Ang key aspects lang natin sa guidebook na ito are the following. Number one, it tries to combat stereotypes, as I have mentioned earlier. It provides guidelines to avoid portraying women as inferior or reinforcing rigid gender roles in television, film, advertising, and news. In a recent analysis ng mga media analysis dun sa mga observers or even some studies, nakalimutan ko lang kung ano yung mga studies na yun, Among the three media industries, news, advertising, and entertainment. Diba? Pamilya kayo doon? Ito yung tatlong major na mga media industries. News, advertising, and entertainment. Accordingly, mas kailangan maraming improvement when it comes to portraying particular characteristics of women and men. Masyadong malaking kailangan improvement gawin ng entertainment industry. Sa news, we are seeing better representation of genders sa news. Although may mga ilan-ilan, ang nakikita lang naman natin pag medyo nagkakaproblema sa may gender issue lang, pag when we present news, tapos biglang may mga commentaries na hindi sa gender sensitive. Diba? Kasi babae yan. Kasi hina naman din mga lalaki, adik din na sila, or mga babae, hina man din na sila. So, hina na ba? Sa sa comment section ng ato mga Facebook pages, social media, usually doon lumalabas ang mga gender biases. So, more importantly, sa ato mga stories, that is why, sa ato mga stories, ginaawhag na to, now, let's try to develop more stories that are may provision ng balance between characteristics of women and men or even the LGBTQ plus at certain situations in our story. Let us just be mindful. Yun lang naman ang hinihingi ng PCWE at saka ng guidebook na ito for us media practitioners to continuously exercise that consciousness, na meron tayong consciousness. I'm sure, especially for our women media practitioners, you always wanted to na ma-improve yung perception ng ating publiko tungkol sa mga kababaihan. Because we know that each one of our genders or each one of us plays specific gender roles in our society. May mga pagkakataon talaga that we recognize what only men can do, what women and only women can do. Tama? So, without discounting the fact that there are certain jobs also in our society na pwede nang gawin ng kababaihan na noon, pang lalaki lang ang tingin, na meron ding na pwede nang gawin ng mga kalalakihan na ang tingin noon, babae lang ang pwedeng gumawa. So, stereotyping yan siya. For example, ngayon, we know na taking care of the household and sino yung nagtatrabaho para to feed the family, interchangeable na ang roles na yan. Tama? There are occasions or certain situations na si babae ang nagtatrabaho for livelihood, may pera, and then mag-feed ng entire family. And then si lalaki is handling the household. Magbantay sa mga bata, siya magluluto. I mean, that's already an acceptable situation that we are experiencing. But for some, sa mga machismo, na medyo macho talaga natin, they're degrading yung iba sa kanilang tingin. But what is good now is that itong mga klase ng mga realidad is now being accepted and being practiced at walang malis or wala man lang yung feeling na degraded ka yung personality natin. Because all of us plays roles and then mga roles are already played interchangeably between sexes and between genders. The second is aspect ng guidebook na ito is using gender-fair language. Language is powerful. Tayong mga taga-media, alam natin yan. How powerful ang lengguwahe, and the way we say things, the way we speak even, the tone even, they are powerful. Well, of course, sabi nga ni Bee ba yun or Beatles? It's only words, and words are all I have to take your heart away. Mga Gen Z, parang hindi nyo ata ito alam yung kantang yan. Ewan ko lang kay Ma'am Jandy. Are you familiar ba with this song? Parang, dili. Kasi si Armando, familiar ka? Hindi ka familiar, Ana? Pasensya na lang, no? Pero, it's what the Bee would say. So, how powerful words are. So, yan din ang gusto ng guidebook na ito. May mga, instead of using the pronoun he, no, for in reference to male na hindi naman sigurado kung male ba siya, we use particular persons, names. For example, instead of using policemen, we use police officers. So, familiar kayo mga ganyan na ang challenge lang ngayon kay may Iron Man tayo ngayon dito. So, paano natin gawin yung Iron Man? Kasi, so mga ganong mga pagkakataon, we accept na, sige, Iron Man muna gamitin since wala, generic yun eh. So, it's a brand nila yon. Pero hopefully, in our storytelling on how we present Iron Man, we present the presence of women. Kids, di ba? May Iron Kids sila. So, mayroon mga Iron Women na nasa competition nila doon. Mix, di ba? Mix ang game. So, let us not also forget, no, sa pag-presentation natin ng story ng Iron Man, let's always involve other genders who are present there. More particularly, ma-highlight yung women's participation. Kasi nga, ang konteksto ng competition is Iron Man. So, mas maganda na magbigyan natin ng highlight yung kababaihan. Okay? During that competition. So, that would be meaningful, no? Magiging meaningful pa yung story regarding sa particular event. So, the gender fair language, this is a handbook also that encourages using inclusive language, such as replacing the he with neutral terms or using police officer and policeman, or instead of saying sales lady, ano ang gagawin natin sa sales lady? Anong better term para sa sales lady, ma'am? Salesperson, sales representative. Okay. So, and then the third aspect is balanced representation. The guidebook promotes showcasing women in leadership roles, technical fields, or diverse, non-traditional careers rather than solely in domestic or subordinate positions. So, representation of women in power or women in positions. No? I'm sure there are a lot of good and beautiful stories about women in various leadership positions in our society. The second to the last is safety and sensitivity. The guidebook also helps in reporting on violence against women and children with sensitivity, respecting victims' dignity, and avoiding victim blaming language. Ito po sa media, kadalasan nangyayari ito, unfortunately. No? Ni-report ng, basta may narinig pa ako talaga sa radio broadcast, in-interview yung police or yung biktima mismo, bang, ano nangyari? Paano ka na-rape? Yung mga ganun ba? So, these are very highly sensitive na mga way of, interviewing the specific individual. I'm sure yung mga veterano dito, you are aware of this. So, I'm talking to our students and our na hindi pa masyadong sensitive sa mga ganito. We hope na ma-practice natin ng maayos. Production check also. This media guidebook will provide creators use it as a checklist to evaluate storylines, scripts, and imagery before production, ensuring they are gender responsive. Okay. We know that the role of the media is powerful. Siguro that's already an understatement. Everybody knows kung kakayahan ng media, we know how it can influence, especially social media right now, it can greatly influence how people think, how people act, how people behave, and how people should respond to particular situations. So, ano kaya ang pwedeng gawin ng media to address these concerns natin? Number one, normalize natin yung diversity in our reporting. I'm sure you're doing it like sa athletes. So we know na si Heidi Lin, na-highlight na si Heidi Lin as, ang klase ng athletic sports, di ba? Supposed to be, men dominates this particular sports. Pero Heidi Lin Diaz had shown us a different story and she won. Si Carlos Yulo, we thought na yung mga matatangkad lang na mga kalalakihan can do a better execution when you do gymnastics. But a small guy, bulky guy, Filipino, can can stretch and be flexible in his field of action. Di ba? Si tatay din, no, normalize din natin yung diversity in the household. Kasi si tatay really can handle household chores and can also raise families and children. The second is diverse natin yung heroism. Women, heroes in the fields of disaster response, disaster preparedness, even in portraying particular roles in society, ma-highlight natin si kababaihan. May mga piloto tayong babae, may mga responders tayo ng mga babae during mga floodings or mga sakuna, ma-highlight natin yun sila. And more importantly, I believe we are doing this is reinforce, manifest ko lang ulit, fact-checking yung stereotypes. I-fact-checking natin yun always and then present a more gender fair and sensitive na representation and portrayal of a particular person, whether woman or man. And last is promote natin yung interactive campaign. Always talk, kahit na nasa social media po sa inyo, mas maganda sana kung you can respond to the commentaries ng inyong mga stories. May magre-react doon na very vulgar against particular gender. Sasabihin niya kasi lalaki yan, o wala siyang lagay, mga ganyan lang siya, or whatever. Dapat tayo who are handling the social media, we should be able to correct and respond to that commentaries. Huwag na nating hayaan sana. Okay? So, basically, yan po yung gist. Gist pa ba yung sinabi ko? Basically, that would be the halos the entirety of what the Gender Fair Media Guidebook is all about. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, RD. Ang sunod, no, magpo-present to tell us what is the Public Act 11313 or the Bawal Bastos Law or the Safe Spaces Act. We have Attorney Gladys Joy Almazan de Leon, the Assistant Regional Prosecutor of DOJ RPO 11.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. So, hello. Better. Hello, good morning. So, yes. Ako ulit siguro. So, I'm here to talk about the overview of the Safe Spaces Act or the Public Act number 11313. So, in addition for existing anti-sexual harassment law or RA number 7877, Congress enacted this law, which is known as the Bawal Bastos Law or the Safe Spaces Act. So, it was signed into law last July 15, 2019. This law is focused on stopping gender-based sexual harassment to achieve equality, security, and safety of all persons, not only in private, but also on the streets, in public places, in cyberspace or online, and especially in workplaces, including training environments and also educational environments. So, particularly, there are four categories of gender-based sexual harassment acts or prohibitions. The first is in public spaces or public places, including the streets. And the second is in the workplace. The third is online or in cyberspace. And the fourth is in training or education environment. So I was told to focus mainly on the application of the Safe Spaces Act as to the media or its role in society. So um, under the law, media practitioners, as already discussed by RD, should first is media employers should post in conspicuous places a copy of the law so that everybody in the workplace will be aware of it. Second, um, it is recommended that in our reporting, in our media activities, we use gender neutral languages. It's already expounded by RD Rene. And then we have to note that any content that is in violation of the law, in terms of media practitioners, the media company including its editors, reporters, may be held liable, criminally liable, as well as administratively liable under this law. So it may entail the revocation of license, the revocation of the licenses, payment of fine. So that's the overview of the Bawal Bastos Law or hate speech.
Okay. I would like to open the floor to questions from our friends on media. Please,
Actually, do you have any data on how many media practitioners na ang nakasuhan and convicted so far
And
in violation of the said
yes,
act?
as to this because this is only effective last 2019. So we have no actual data as to convictions yet. There may be pending cases already in court or in the offices of our prosecutors for fighting of the information in court. But as to convictions, we have no actual data yet. But as soon as we get some, we'll forward.
What are the challenges in terms of implementation of this act?
um, it the act everybody is encouraged to implement this act because this is applicable even in public spaces. So meaning it's applicable in the streets. So whether you know somebody or not, to implement this law, we have to be aware and also those who may be victims of violations of this law should find courage to report the incidents involving the violations so that people will be deterred from doing the violation. Kasi they will see that the laws are really enforced and people are not afraid to enforce their rights under the law.
Focusing on the online aspect, since we have four categories as you said, ano po yung challenges doon, especially when it comes to the yung respondent is using a dummy account or something like that.
Yes, that's why
How do you prove that?
we have technology, existing technology, and we have particular persons who are trained to do cyber patrolling, online cyber investigation. Under the law, online violations are referred to the PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group because they are the ones equipped with what we call this technology. There is a certain program that would give them sensitive data or information as to the username, user account. So and also even ordinary, let's say, evidence, like for example, people know this account to be used by a certain person. So let's say a person has account ABC, but his real name is X. So if other people, sa tinamban ba, or if not involving PNP cybercrime, people can help. Those who know that X is usually is the person behind this ABC profile. So and also the usual challenges he said is that actually the matter of attribution. Who is the one behind the online account? Who is the one who has access to that online account? Because that's the one that's usually difficult to prove when the case is uh, already brought before. Because you have to prove that you are reasonable doubt.
Yes, attorney, especially when the evidence is inadmissible because of, it's only, the evidence is only, screenshots.
No, okay, screenshots are actually admissible. You just have to authenticate. Yes, you
have
just
to
have to
authenticate.
authenticate them. So how did you obtain this screenshot? What account did you use in obtaining this screenshot? How many who took the picture of this screenshot? When you printed it, where did you print it? How many copies? It's just a matter of authentication. Actually.
When can we say that the evidence is inadmissible?
Rules of court says it. So an evidence is inadmissible if it's not allowed by the rules of court. For example, if somebody is incompetent to talk about it. So, example, I have a screenshot and you happen to know this person, but you are not the one who took the screenshot. So you have no personal knowledge about how the screenshot came to be. But you may corroborate as to the person of the perpetrator behind the account in case you are friends or you know for a fact that he or she is the one behind this account. You can corroborate. Pero as in terms of authenticating that particular screenshot, it should be the one who took the screenshot to process it and until it reached the court. So we're actually not hopeless.
Kay fiscal, karon no nga medyo nag-tone down na ang mga broadcasters term with their sexist remarks no after na naisang nasampulan diri sa Davao City. I think ako na katong mga kusog kayo na mo mo yung ana nga mga komentaryo na napaminaw na ako na nag-tone down sila. Right now, attorney no, since ang is prison correctional lang ilahang penalty for that 2 years and 4 months. Okay.
Na mag-take ka ng hierarchy of your acts na nag-commit of offense. Tapos, depende po siya kung asa yung mo commit. So, hindi siya kanyang uniform penalty na maugid ni prison correctional din siya 6 months and 1 day to 6 years din sa gilid. Kanang naakot siya yung hierarchy of first offense. Hindi mo ang kanina commit kung kahit sa public. So, it depends on the place. Kaya ang element niya is the acts plus the place.
Okay. So, despite sa inyo ano nga medyo mubo lang ang penalty for them no man. Hindi sila mabulok dito sa kasuhan dyan. Pero kung sabay tanaw ninyo nga chilling effect na dili na nila ni buhaton ng usab.
Well, ang chilling effect is the possibility din of incarceration or being put to jail plus the payment of fine. And also the fact na if you continue to commit it, kamatagam sa imo first offense, the penalty gets higher.
Mapriso na
Pero dili lang pud yun tayo. You also think of the offender, person pud ba yan? He is also capable of saving himself, siguro, being rehabilitated. So, let's hope more for that rather than ipapulok natin sila sa pulukan.
mo na usay kung tawagan ni ato fiscal kaning kuan nga gusto nila mabulok kay murag ilang honor and dignity napakaulawan
Sa victim.
sa victim.
But honor and dignity is also relative in relation to to the accused. Diba? Meaning, you must also prove your reputation and the damage that was caused to you. It also includes the presentation of evidence. Hindi po pwede nga, ma-hurt lang, feelings lang hindi mo accuse. Kaya dapat na pag you prosecute or you bring the case to court, you have to present evidence.
If ever ba nga makonvict ka, sabi mawala sa mga ato if ever na makonvict ka, aside sa mong kuan, liberty,
Of course,
if you're
if
convicted,
you are a practitioner, for example, media practitioner, your license to practice your profession as a media practitioner may be revoked or suspended. Tapos, of course, you may be adjudged to pay a fine. So, money, kung nakita ka rin nag-isip ka, bayad pa ito fine. So, kung bayad pa ito fine, di ba? So, and then, imprisonment. Karon kung dili gyapon ka mag-discourage ang mo naging makabahala siguro nimo.
wala din ba siya mawalaan og kani yang civil rights niya nga since murag ma-consider siya as a crime involving moral turpitude.
Dealing civil rights. And that if you're incarcerated and there's an election, civil rights most probably na din mo ma-practice is the right to vote.
Kasi hindi ka nakaboto.
Ma-priso ka. Pero as I said, Manggod, graduated ang penalties. Ang first offense, usually, kay ipaseminar lang ang gender sensitivity training plus fine.
But once you are convicted,
Yeah, even if you're convicted. Because the law provides penalty. Graduate yun niya ang penalty. Meaning, kagatuo ang balaod nga, siguro naman, gender sensitivity training, nagugka sa first offense pa lang nimo. Di na siguro ka mo balik, kukuhan, karon kung gusto nyo, di hapon ka, malingaw, patistingan ng balaod, naapod sa second penalty dito na ay imprisonment or fine or pasa. Yeah. Pag maligya, kung hindi ka matagam, napaging third level, which is imprisonment and fine na.
So, what if nasa ka level since convicted naman tong isa ka kauban na mo.
Wala mo kung personal knowledge ano yung siya kauban ko, dahil
Pero
na-convict
na-convict na siya.
Unsa ang second charge sa iya, ha?
Same.
No, where? Where did he commit it? Workplace, public space,
Online.
online. So, second charge na niya. Then,
I think first,
so this, kaya siya ang problem. It's difficult to talk about the pending case, sir.
hindi siya pending, convicted na.
Yeah, pero kung wala man siya siyang ibuhat karon, kung convicted siya, like, I don't have a copy of the decision, sir. I don't have a copy of the decision. So, dito, sir, ang decision. Unfortunately, I cannot speculate on unsa may
So it depends on the court, the decision
Yes,
of the
kung
court.
convicted mo siya, it's written in the decision. So you cannot ask me, hindi mo nakuha ang body. So,
Pero ano lang ba, just a warning lang sa mga na, well, kanang gusto gid malingaw gid na magstorya ang mga pinastos tapos
as I said, sir, graduated ang penalty. I already mentioned kung saan ang penalty.
Okay. Well, huwag nilang paborito, especially itong mga seniors na mo.
I hope makamatod na. And I hope kanang we cultivate goodness and kindness in ourselves na dili lang yan, dili kita mo maghulat na naay penalty na worst case scenario nga. Sa gusto yun nato nga penalty patyon pa just because lumalay or sexually degraded somebody. So, naarag din sa tao. Laws are meant to deter us from doing violations against the rights of other people. Pero kung dili dito ma-deter, di ko katubag po dun sa ang mahitabo sa imo. But the law provides for a graduated penalty, sir. Diba? First offense na ay particular penalty. Second offense na ay mas worse na penalty. Third offense, mas dugay ang imprisonment, mas dugay ang fine. Sa inana lang sa ang naasan lang.
Pero, kani ba siya nakis sa fiscal, kwan ba siya? Tawag kanin, probationary ba siya? Pwede ba siya maka-apply probation?
Depende sa imong violation. So, pwede mo ka mag-probation good part below.
Thank you po.
Nawata na ka, sir.
For the education.
Okay, well, two questions kay narapat na next one. Kate.
Sige po. Ma'am, balik lang ta dun sa mga victims gani. Just like any other crimes, naman due process no para mga tabang. But given sa context ng Philippine society na medyo low kaayo ang awareness ng mga tao when it comes to harassment, sexual harassment, etc. Nabay ka ng murag pamaagi na mas madali ang katong pangayo og tabang ng mga victims from filing to up to mag-reach ang court.
Sorry. The process of filing of case is process ng sa. So, ang mapadali, if you want it na mapadali, pagkahingan ng panahon, hindi mo o kanyang present, may mo hagi na siyang atipangon. Tapos, the law also provides for a hotline, natay hotline. But we are supposed to have a local hotline and a national hotline for violations of the Safe Spaces Act. So, tapos also to make other people more aware, you have to do more of this. Information drives, campaigns, tapos mupapa ito sa level na sa barangay, sa student level, so even minors can be victims, and also even minors can be perpetrators of unlike the anti-sexual harassment law, it requires for a perpetrator to be liable national moral ascendancy. Pero kanya siya ang ato ang Safe Spaces Act, even if you are inferior or you are at par, peer level lang mo, basta gibuhat ninyo siya, you have violated the law. So I think that one, you have to post copies of these laws. You have to give info materials, mga information materials, disseminate information materials about them. Share what we know about this law to as many as we can to make them Actually, ma-search lang, actually kung mag-research mo, you can search ready PowerPoint presentations and also materials, resources about this law. Mag-YouTube lang, mag-search yan na ninyo or sa Google na search engine or whatever internet-based search engine you have. Ganit na lang, ay people are making information available through online.
So what makes it different when it comes to treatment sa balaod, ma'am? Siguro ay kasi of course mayroong yung sexual abuse, may rape, etc. With this kind of law, yung sa atong treatment ani para mas mainganyo yung mga victims na mga yung tabang. And at the same time, siguro in Region 11 kasi since napasa siya in 2019, dili kaayo gyud taas ang awareness even for example in the media industry ang ang well daming bastos na ano no kanang nahimo siyang norm gani and uh, ang bawa ang treatment sa isa't isa yung sexual jokes etc. it's a norm yet wala gyud kaayo nagaduol sa korte para mahimo siyang ma-weaponize ang balaod towards ani in region 11 ginaunsa aside ani nga forum ginaunsa nato nga mas ano tawag niya pa padako pa ang awareness ang pataas ang awareness.
For that, I can only speak for my workplace na okay. We have yearly center and development nila. So that's for us. And then, kung nai mag-request, whatever na topic na about the laws, we can cater to it. We can give lectures on this.
Siguro ma'am sa kana last na lang sorry sir asa ang gap nato sa ma'am sa kanang kakulang masyadong mataas yung cases ng sexual harassment cases na nino-normalize.
Do you have
I mean,
statistics
on a cultural
based on-
level, ma'am, yung pagiging nung normalize ng bawa, catcalling, yung ganyan, pero masyadong low yung awareness naman ng mga tao na, ay, ito pala ay pwedeng magsampa ng kaso. Kapag pa sinabi pa lang, uy, ang ganda mo, pwede kang i-rate pag nag-comment ganyan sa Facebook, it's a violation of the law. Pero hindi mo makikita or hindi mo mabasa sa news that there's someone actually filing it, especially in Region 11.
Because these are confidential cases. It's not supposed to be mabalandra sa media. Anything about these cases is under the protection of confidentiality mo na. So, general lang siguro yung makita, in particular, kung sabi nilang reklamo, yung confidential, because it's covered by confidentiality. Pero as to kung asa sila patulong or asa sila makapangayod tabang, we have the public awareness office and we have even POJ. So, yes, we have YACRAT, hotline, kanang interagency na mga efforts to curb crime. And this is also a criminal violation or an act. Just like any other act, we are against it and we are working hard to prevent it and also punish the perpetrator. So, kanya lang. And also, again, we cannot do it by ourselves. We also, now that you have been informed of the Six Cases Act, which we produced, we ask also for your help to help us relate it to other states. Oo, ganun na. Gamay lang nakabalo. So, each of us has a duty to tell others about what we learned today.
Sorry, follow up ko lang very quick lang. Ano yung mga common reasons why are these, cases in violation of Safe Spaces Act ma-dismissed? What are the common reasons? Aside from, or can you elaborate on aside from meeting the evidentiary standards?
Well, hopefully, for now, we will no longer have cases that are dismissed at the court level because the DOJ has been implementing DOJ Department Order number PC number 21 on case build up. So unlike before, if you decide to file ka lang, bahala ka, i-decide na lang ng prosecutor based on what you file. Now, when you file a case, the prosecutors will evaluate what you have that you filed for us, and at the start, we tell you ano yung kulang mo na evidence. And you have to comply with this or that. Now, after having told you about kung ano yung kulang, it's on you whether you will continue to file it despite the fact na kulang ka, or you will adhere kasi maglista ang prosecutors niyan kung ano ang result ng evaluation. So, hopefully, late or now onwards, we will have lesser cases this week kasi at the level of the prosecutor, we will ensure that we have enough evidence, we have prima facie evidence with reasonable certainty of conviction in our hands before we decide to file a case in court. Now, if other than that, if the most reasons for dismissals are sometimes the witnesses, because cases are not heard overnight. Sometimes it takes months, years. Sometimes the complainants choose to abandon the case, or simply we have no enough evidence. We have to prove, we have to show proof beyond reasonable doubt. So we have to present evidence that can show the guilt of that case before. So it's not enough na, like as I said, pwede na, hurt na, case ka, but you have no evidence. So you have no way to go. Wala lang inyong basis. So as I said now, don't worry about it kasi there's case build up. So in case build up, the prosecutor will help the complainant, will tell the complainant what to look for and present to the defense. So that's the improvement right now because of DOJ TC number 20 and also TC number 15 and 20.
Okay, may tanong may tanong pa because we'll be, ano ba? Okay na? Okay, we will be going to the second part of our kapehan. We'd like to thank Attorney Gladys and Sir Rene for their time. The second part, we will have Sir Romeo and Vasquez, Division Chief, Consumer Protection Division, DTI 11, to talk about price monitoring, basic goods and prime commodities, and Sir Lunar Pailogar, representing the Archbishop Thibault Media Awards, representing Father Richie, Richie, kay wala si Father Richie, Sir Lunar, he is the screening committee of the Archbishop Thibault Media Awards, and Sir Romeo Vasquez Jr., Division Chief of DTI 11. Okay, opening statement, we'll start with Sir Lunar, the Archbishop Thibault Media Award.
May buntag sa tanan. Good morning to our fellow media practitioners. So I'm representing Father Richie, representing also the screening committee of the Archbishop Thibault Media Award. This is already our second Archbishop Thibault Media Award, and this is formerly known as the Davao Catholic Mass Media Award. The name Archbishop Thibault Award, gikuha niya siya sa unang Archbishop sa Davao, no? Archbishop Thibault Award. So, hopefully, this is already our second batch, no? Screening process of the ACMA. So, I hope mag-join ta, no? So, I would just like to relate to you some of the awards na among gusto po i-promote, no? So, if you are a media practitioner, whether print, broadcast, or nasa online, and you're interested in this category, so natin Laudato Si Awards basically talks about the environment, no? Napod tayo Fraternity Tutti. By the way, kami mga Latin terms ni siya based sa mga documents sa simbahan, but these documents represent kind of a category and focus for the award. So Laudato Si is for the environment, Fraternity Tutti, literally all brothers. If you want to submit about topics on social, brotherhood, fraternity, peace, pwede na. Napod tayo award, no, sa about sa family, no, Familiaris Consortio Award sa mga Filipino values,
struggles sa mga pamilya ug uban pa, no? And of course, related kayo no sa discussion nato kanina, kaning mga gender-based things na napot ay Mulyeres Dignitatum Award or the Dignity of Women. So if you want to submit materials na, or documentary or whatever no related sa kababayan, pwede kaayo. Napo tayo Popularong Progression Award on the Development of Peoples. So, daghan ka ni mga NGO work, community development work, apil po na diha indigenous advocacies no sa atong mga IP po no, artificial intelligence no, naapod mo yung mga materials ano. And naapod tayo Inter-Merifica Award. So, kani siya focus lang exclusive lang hinuon ni siya sa ginaingon nato mga Parish Social Communications Team. Kay dinhi sa ato ang Archdiocese, naatay mga social communications so warang mga anchors no kung may mga kalihukan ng matag parokya, so sila giawhag sila pod nga mo join niini no sa mga lain-laing parokya sa atong Archdiocese. So dili sa Davao Region, dili lang di sa Davao City kundi sa Davao Region. Naapoy Christus Divit Award at Christ is Alive, but basically, okay ang document na nag-isgot kabahin sa roles ng mga kabatanunan. So, kaninga award, exclusively for campus journalism. No? Either senior high school or higher ed. No? So, sa mga colleges and universities. So, kabalutan nga matag universities or colleges or senior high school, dati kinatawag nato og school paper. Okay? Laboring exertions, mga work nato diha no may kabahin sa pagka-laborer. So, workers' right, mga so pwede ta mag-submit ana. Erga Nel Grantes Award, kani po related sa mga lain issues no, ug mga struggles sa mga migrants, pwede mga OFWs or kanang mga displaced person no na they are moving. They are migrating because of conflict, because of war, or probably poverty. Evangeli Gaudium Award of the Jury of the Gospel, kabalutan, dinipod sa Davao Region, naapod tayo mga kaubanan sa mga media practitioners no nga ang focus nila mao ang pagpakaylap sa maayong balita. So, pwede mo diri musulod na category. And then, Community Progression Award, Photojournalism Award. So, kanang mga mahilig diha sa kung ano ka, mga photojournalist, pwede po mo mag-submit nini. Naapod tay Dignitas Infinita Award or about the dignity of person. So, daghan ka ni malupanin ka ni any issues, concerns na naay kalabutan sa pag-promote o pag-advocate sa human dignity. Okay? And of course, ang ika-13 na award, kumbaga maoning nato nga kanang pinaka-highest award, no, maoning Archbishop Clovis Tibong Special Award. So most probably, na ang mga entries po, pwede po nga diha magikan sa ilaha ang kani nga pinakataas na award, Archbishop Clovis Tibong Special Award. Mangutana mo, para lang ba ni sa mga Katoliko dili? Kay kani nga mga documents binasig sa simbahan ng mga dokumento pero practically it's about promotion of human dignity and welfare. So dili siya limited, no? So ang gina-focus po nato diri nga award instead of kanang reporter or anchor or kinsay author, ang focus sa award mao ang iyahang material na gisubmit. No nganuman kana para dili nga ta mo question sa moral. Di ba, mitapos siya may na-awardan nga, dili man na siya, kuan na, may issue na siya. Klaro na ito ni, our focus is on the material, the content of the award. Okay? So, ang nagsubod na di ay ang pagdawat namo sa mga entries, ang last na, or deadline sa submission of entries, karong April 18, 2026. No? So, kung mag-submit mo, unsa man ang coverage ni ini. Kaya base mag-submit kung 19 kupong-kupong. No? So, iklaro lang nato, publish or broadcast or air gikan sa October 24, 2025
no? O hangtod sa February 16, 2026. Okay?
2024.
October 4, October 24, 2025. Tama ba? No? 2024. 2024.
25 o 24?
2024. Okay. Medyo backtrack no? Kailangan. So, asa ninyo i-submit no, sa kanyang email? archbishoptiboawards@gmail.com. No, naami gipanghatag ang mga flyers niya. So, pwede ninyo matanaw ni kani akong nagisulti, no? So, dili lamang ni Davao City, but Davao Region. No? Davao Region. So, I hope kani mga media practitioners na ito mag-salmutan no, ang ining award. Okay? So, kanus ani paghimuon ang awarding May 16, 2026, 3 p.m. sa Finsur Auditorium sa Ateneo de Davao University. Okay? So, now, kung mag-submit mo, mauni ang importanteng bantayan nato, no? So, nag-email mo ito, no? Email ta sa archbishoptiboawards@gmail.com. Una, nakabutang dito, naka-indicate dito ang title of the media work, no? Sa man to, di ba? Wag tera sa basura, for example. And then, naalay 2 to 3 sentences na brief description lang, ha? Brief description. Ikatulo, kinsa man ang author or creator, ana. Ikaupat, asa man nga media outfit na bilog. No? Sa kwan ba ni siya, sa Sunstar, sa, example lang, ha? Wala ko ginagamit. Example lang. Okay, ABS or GMA o sa papaniha. No? And then, submit niyo ang inyong material, pero kung dako kayo, like mga videos, documentaries, no? So, pwede ta mo submit sa link. Be sure nga, pag-click na mo, no, makita na mo dito ang link. And then, ikaunom, unsa man nga category sa award ang gusto ninyo ni nga kani inyong i-submit, no? So at least kabalo ni nga ay gusto din namon i-submit about sa environment sa Laudato Si award. Okay? So I hope you join ta nga kung naamoy mga pangutana later on we're more than willing to answer your queries. Daghang kaayong salamat.
Okay, thank you, sir. Then we have Romeo and Vasquez. Talk us about price monitoring of basic goods and prime commodities. Kamusta na po with the rising fuel prices?
Thank you, Sir Rudolph. Maayong buntag sa tanan. Mabuhay madayaw. I am Romeo Vasquez Jr., currently the Chief in Consumer Protection Division of the Regional Office of the Department of Trade and Industry Region 11. So, we thank PIA 11 for giving us the opportunity to share updates on our price and supply monitoring efforts, particularly for basic necessities and prime commodities in Region 11 amid the continuing crisis in the Middle East.
Okay, questions from our friends from the media.
Sa DTI. Sir, kumusta ng effort sa DTI to ensure na walay mga nag-take advantage sa situation karon sa Middle East and ongoing crisis karon na walay mag-take advantage ana para sobra-sobra ang pag-markup sa mga presyo sa basic commodity.
Okay, thank you, sir. As a directive po from our head office, because we recognize na natin ongoing na crisis and if na ba ni effect sa ato ang price and supply sa ato mga basic necessities and prime commodities, although we regularly conduct naman our price and supply monitoring, but right now we really intensify our price and supply monitoring through our provincial offices in the 6 city and provinces in Davao del Sur. So, Davao region. So, for the last 3 weeks po of our price and supply monitoring, the supply and prices, particularly for basic necessities and prime commodities, remain generally stable. In other words, prices are still compliant to our suggested retail price and that there is enough supply for our consumers. So right now, sir, we still do not see the effect significantly to the price of our basic necessities and prime commodities. Although there are slight increases on some products, but they remain
well within the 10% of the suggested retail price. If that happens po na ang ilahang increase is within the 10% of the suggested retail price, we will issue them a letter of inquiry to explain ngano na ay increase. But again, these are just very few products. Some of these are canned goods, milk products, and processed meat or canned na mga processed meat po. Like beef loaf and luncheon.
Sila po ang natagaan ninyo notice to explain. Sa 10% na increase, sir, no?
Yes, sir. Very minor lang yun siya, sir. Di siya significant na ano that if I may share, like for example, di lang siguro lang to i-mention ang sir, no, ang brand. Like for example, one brand of sardines na 155 grams, ang SRP is 20.5, and last week, a retail establishment in Davao City is selling it at 20.85. So sobra siya of 0.35 or 1.7%. So this is well within the 10% of the SRP. Another is a brand of beef loaf, 150 grams. SRP is 21.75, and a retail establishment in Davao City is selling it at 22.20, and that's an increase of 0.45 or 2.07%. Still within the SRP, 10%. And another is a soap brand, 119 grams. SRP is 49, and a retail establishment in Davao del Norte is selling it at 50.8. So that's 3.67% increase. So again, if we see these slight increases, but well within the 10%, we issue a letter of inquiry, and based on their, so that they could explain ano na ay may slight increases in the prices. And from their explanation, most of the explanations are increase in the cost of logistics, delivery costs, and other direct and indirect costs like isa na dito jud ang factor sa fuel.
Pero clarification, sir, wala ka man other like impose moratorium on price increases or order.
Our secretary has had a meeting last week with the National Price Coordinating Council, and based on that meeting, they do not see a need to impose a price freeze, because as I've shared, generally naman po, our price and supply remains stable for basic necessities and prime commodities.
Sir, akong dimension mo na 10% na increase, sir, that's allowable for as long as hindi sila mo exceed beyond 10%. Tama ba?
Yes, sir.
Pero even if within 10%, they are meant to explain why.
Yes, sir. Through the LOI na or letter of inquiry that we issue.
Pero how often po do you conduct the price monitoring?
Weekly, sir.
Okay, we'd like to announce now, after dito may temple tour, March, may ban for media friends to the largest temple Davao. So the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Before I go to continue, I would like to ask Sir Lunar, 2024 last year wala, no? And sino tong mga media na na-award mga that you can remember na-award sa it was by Sunstar, no? Na dito. So naapoy taga Mindanao Times, naapoy dito. And so gamay para kay gi-revive ang gutugikan sa Davao Catholic Mass Media. So bitaw na we hope this time na daghan og mga participants na kay gusto man ko nato i-promote tong kanang bitawng good news, no? Nga daghan kaayo nga mga kwan sa ato media practitioners na kabahin gid siya sa kumbaga pag-concretize sa pagtulong sa simbahan in many areas na we can advocate human dignity, no? The promotion of human rights. Kasi mga media forms that you accept aside from, kasi mga traditional ngayon, may mga social media, may mga...
Okay. May salamat kayo sa pagpangutana na sa kaisa gyud sa among mga discussions po kung appeal ba ang mga daghan na bugod karoy ka ng mga reels sana. So, iklaro na mo nga ang maka-join lang gid ani kanang traditional media, no? So, of course, the usual, the print,
kanang naa sa television. O kabalo pud ta nga naa po'y mga teleradyo na pud karon. So, apil na siya basta na siya naka-anchor siya sa isa ka prominent pud nga media outfit. Pero kung halimbawa lang mo self-proclaim ka nga murag media, labi na ganun rin nag-do political bloggings, di ba? Having kanang mga content po natin sa ato ang mga media, dili sila appeal. But we don't want to discredit them, but it's just that kung apilon mo nato sila kan may anak nga medyo grabe kaayo no ang wala mas maglisod tag navigate anak kay in terms of accountability, editing process, agit of an editorial board, so mas safe ta kung dito ta sa mga mainstream media.
The website news, web news, and mga government media.
Appeal na siya, no?
Okay,
Sir Vice. Sir, I just wanted to go back regarding sa kaming mga napadala na to letter. If ever, sir, na napadala na to letter of inquiry, and then wala gyapon nag-respond or like padayon gyapon ang pagsaka sa presyo, unsa ba ang mga penalties na mahatag na to ani ng mga ng mga company po ba? O pila ba
Yes,
sila
ma'am.
ka so far, sir, sa pag-monitor na to, pila na ato ang na
Very few pa lang kaayo, ma'am, all over Davao region. But if ever, ma'am, na dili natanaw na mo dili satisfactory ang ilang explanation or padayon gyapon sila sa pag-increase despite na nag-issue ta sa ilang LOI, that's the time na mag-issue na ta og notice of violation sa ilaha. And that's the time we can impose penalties if ever na ay violation for SRP, kay administrative fine na from 5,000 or as much as 2 million, especially pag basic necessities and prime commodities. It can also result to business permit cancellation and also imprisonment for 5 to 15 years. Depende sa severity sa ilang violation.
So far, sir, karon na yun, na po ba tayo nakampulan?
So far, wala pa po.
Last year po, wala po.
Wala pa po, ma'am. Generally, very compliant naman po atong mga retail establishments in Davao region sa atong SRP.
Hey, Sir Sir, I just wanted to clarify po regarding sa mechanics po on submitting the, our stories. Kaning Davao Region ba, sir, reporters or articles written under Davao Region na po ba or kaning ang mga stories sa report is outside po ba sa Davao
Pwedeng
Region?
outside ang issue, pero ang mga participants ani no is sa Davao region. Okay, so for example, ikaw ma'am, you're from Davao, but you're writing something na sa Palawan. So that's okay, and you're also writing that yung imong media outfit na located sa Davao region. So kami magudno sa Archdiocese natay ko ano kay ito dati tama Davao, Digos, Tagum, Matic. So practically, these local churches belong to the Davao region.
For Sir Romeo Vasquez, sir, good morning. Karina from City Information Office. Question ko lang po tungkol sa after sa issuance po ng inquiry, how many weeks po or kailan po ninyo ulit i-revisit yung na-issuehan ng inquiry?
Within 48 hours, dapat maka-reply sila sa LO1.
So, after, if favorable po yung reply nila, sir, or na-defend po nila, hindi po sila pa-produce ng any consequences.
If satisfactory ang explanation, ma'am, like for example, katong explanation nila na increase in logistics, makita man nato nga na-adjust increase sa fuel. So, we see it naman as satisfactory na explanation.
So for how do you do the monitoring, sir? Ilan po bang tao ang naglilibot po sa ating mga establishments or
We have
businesses?
a provincial team po per city or per province that do weekly monitoring. So, usually a team of 2 or 3 personnel from each office po.
Saan po yung tinitingnan ninyo na mga main na ng mga prices po, how scattered po ba sa palengke po ba or sa mga malls or saan po yung concentration ng inyong team?
Usually mga retail establishments kasi ang jurisdiction sa DTI is more on the basic necessities and prime commodities. Ang palengke is more on kasi sa Department of Agriculture. So for DTI, mga supermarkets, but for provinces, we also do especially sa mga provinces na wala kayo dagkong retail establishment. So kanang mga medyo dagko na sari-sari stores that cater to most of the consumers sa provinces, ginaapil na naman sa mga monitor.
Advice po natin sa ating mga retail stores, sir, in terms of this price SRP violation, and how do you encourage them to really follow, and also reminder na lang din po sa consequences if ever maglampas sila sa SRP.
Yes. Sa DTI kasi ma'am, two-pronged pang mong mandate. Una is to, aside from empowering our consumers, napoy side si DTI nga enabling our, supporting our business. So that's why our secretary always emphasizes na for DTI, we always find the balance of ensuring that our consumers are protected while also looking out for the welfare of our businesses. Now, dili po kayo sila maapektuhan sa price increases kay kita as DTI nagda-dialogue po ta sa ilahan na kung pwede dili sila mag-increase of price because of the effect to the consumer. So, for our retail establishments, you can always work with DTI. Dili man mi katong punitive jud kaayo ka pag makita mo namo nga naay violation sa SRP nga ipasirado dayon. We always see to it na maka-explain po sila sa ilang side. But if they have other concerns, they can always reach out to us kay naman tay office per city or province. But also, a message to our consumers in general to be vigilant. If naa sila nakitaan na overpriced kaayo na BNPC, don't hesitate to report it to DTI. We have active na mga official Facebook accounts in our city and province. So just type DTI, then the name of the province or city. DTI Davao City, DTI Davao del Norte, and we will cater to their complaints or to their issues, especially this time na natin crisis.
Thank you, kayo, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning. Ikaw sa
Sige, kami sa... Sir, kanang you said earlier na we have ample products here in supply, in the region. But I'd like to know kasi of course tomorrow there will be possible another increase in fuel. Kasi projection nato sa atong prices sa basic commodities, sir. Nabay siguro possible nga mo galaw ba siya ang presyo by this week or at least end of the month?
As mentioned earlier, ma'am, based on the trend in the last 3 weeks, stable naman po yung prices. But if I may share also, last week, our Secretary Cristina Roque, had a dialogue with 21 manufacturers who committed to not increase their prices for the next 30 to 60 days. If I may share lang, the following brands committed na walay increase for the next 30 days. We have Unipac, 555, Ligo, Lucky 7, Fresca, Morjon, Golden Town, Mega, that's for canned sardines. For bread products, Pinoy Tasty and Pinoy Pandesal. For bottled water, we have Wilkins and Nature Spring. For toilet and laundry soap, we have Safeguard, Pure White, Tide, and Green Cross. For condiments, Dato Puti, soy sauce and vinegar, Lorenz Patis. For processed canned meat, CBO and candles from Liwanag. Sila ang nag-commit na within 30 days, dili sila mag-increase. Then other brands also committed na within 60 days, dili sila mag-increase. Lucky Me, Homey, Argentina, Lucky 7, 555, Swift Premium, Wow, and Shanghai. And then another set of brands na will not increase for the time being. Kopiko, Nescafe, Sunmig Coffee, 3-in-1, and Export Candle. I can provide the list po later.
Sir, how about our fisheries and poultry products? Will there be parang an increase, a slight increase, or maapektuhan ba sila?
Pero, I could not, sorry ma'am, I could not um, talk for agricultural products because it's under the jurisdiction of DA. But I think Department of Agriculture also has a directive to intensify their price and supply monitoring.
Right, good morning. Hapit na mag-uton to Sir Vasquez. To clarify po, no, with the comparative from the previous months na prior sa naitabong crisis sa Middle East, kumusta naman with regards sa mga basic commodities in the time being, labi na kay ang delivery via of canned goods and every other commodities from the supermarket and grocery na magdisod sila due to the pagtaas sa presyo sa lana. So, kumusta naman ang pag-monitor as per DTI sponsor?
Yes, sir. Stable pa naman po, sir. Generally stable po ang price and supply of our basic necessities and prime commodities. But in this time of crisis, we intensify our monitoring, which is always naman po regular and weekly. So, but as of now, we don't see any significant effect po of the increase in the price of fuel to our basic necessities and prime commodities based on the 3 weeks na monitoring po that we have conducted.
To clarify po, sir, with regards to price increase while the ongoing crisis is concerned, nabay to clarify na violate na establishment.
Wala po tayong ongoing na price freeze sa Davao region. We have one in Davao de Oro, but it's not because of the fuel crisis. It was because of the state of calamity declared last February because of the severe landslide and flooding incidences brought by the shear line weather system. So that's why my ongoing price freeze in Davao de Oro, which will end in April 24. But price freeze na dala ng fuel crisis, wala pa po as of now. Thank you.
Okay. Ano ba?
Hello? In terms sa naay mga products na nag-roll back din po ba, sir?
Definitely na po yung mga products na nagbabailahang price. Sige ma'am, na po yung certificate. For our monitoring last week, ma'am, March 16 to 20, na yung mga products like mga canned goods, water products po na below the SRP ang ilang selling prices. But again, generally, they are compliant naman po to suggested retail price.
Sir, mga ilan ni same muhang moral input, sir, kung unsa ba ka dako ang mahimong epekto ani sa inflation ang ongoing crisis sa Middle East. And ikaduha, mga how many weeks from now or months from now ma-feel na ang intensity sa crisis?
For inflation, I could not really say, sir, because inflation dagan mga factors po ang maka-affect sa inflation. But definitely, if magdugay pa din siya, sir, na crisis, we will really see effects na sa prices on our basic necessities and prime commodities. But that's why one of the interventions na gihimo po sa ato ang DTI Secretary was really to have a dialogue with manufacturers and get their commitment to not increase the price for the next 30 to 60 days. But according po sa ato manufacturers, they still have naman ample supply for the next 2 to 3 months. So hopefully dili ni magdugay na crisis because if magdugay pa na natin tayo makita na effects on the prices of BNPCs or basic necessities and health commodities.
Okay, no? Mike.
If ever magdugay ni sir, are we expecting na mag-price increase kita sa itong mga basic commodities?
Maybe ma'am, if na natin makita na need to impose a price freeze, if ever mag-worsen due the crisis, hopefully not, but if ever na natin need to impose a price freeze, pwede man ka impose sa price freeze. But that is not only decided by TTI, napot tayong mga kinakonsult like the National Price Coordinating Council on is there a necessity or need to impose a price freeze. But as of karon wala pa man.
So far sir, sa mga provinces or municipalities po ba sa Davao Region, na po ba yung mga locality na nagpa-price freeze? For example, last time, I think ang Davao de Oro, because of the earthquake, the price freeze po sila.
Yes,
Is it still applicable till now po?
Yes, ma'am. Ang price freeze na ongoing sa Davao de Oro will end April 24. But that, again, i-emphasize na ko that that's not because of the fuel crisis, but because of the shear line weather system cause of landslides and flooding sa Davao de Oro. So mag-end to siya, ma'am, because it's a 60-day price freeze. So mag-end siya April 24.
Thank you, sir.
Kay Sir Romeo. Sir, karon ba sir nga panahon na since sunod-sunod ang kwan na oil price hike tapos ning sunod pa tong kwan no tong bag-ong minimum wage karon sa diri sa Davao Region na po mga kaning kwan no mga businesses nga murag ni agay na because daghan na sila og kanang mga expenses ilang operation.
So far, sir, wala pa may nakita na significant trend na closure of these establishments, especially sa itong mga major retail establishments. Kay kani silang mga retail establishments, mapod ang ginabalik-balikan weekly to monitor the prices. So far, wala pa may nakita na.
How about the small businesses sir? Mga MSMEs natin.
Kana sir, di ko makaingon kay dili sa po part sa mo ang jurisdiction like mga sari-sari stores dili na po part sa price monitor.
So nakatay ka rin maghihatag na murag kaning assistance po sir sa mga katong businesses. Or
For DTI, sir, natay ginatawag na PPG, PPG program, pero these are for calamity-stricken na mga business establishments. So, maghatag ni og livelihood kits, dili siya cash assistance but livelihood kits. So, sa karon naputay budget especially ato mga nasunugan, nabahaan ng mga business. Pero as to murag subsidy because of the fuel increase in the price of fuel, so far wala kami na subsidy.
Okay, last question to Sir Lunar. Ano yung prizes that will be earned by our awardees, no? Para mainggan. Nakulbaan ko, no? So, wala giti siya may na to prize sa simbahan man nga tuan kay gusto man gud namo i-promote nga unta ang mo appeal ni ini dili siya ma-motivate sa monetary nga award nga prize. Pero ang quantity is of course na certificate na ay trophy, no, but more than that, beyond that thing is kana bitaw ma-affirm pod ang work sa atong mga uban sa media practitioners sa ilang maayong gibuhat. Okay, so mao na ang akong maino. So kung nga may siguro may monetary something na we don't want to promote. Ilang years na daw? This is the former Davao Catholic Media Award.
Yes, so early 90s, so formerly, so gi-rebrand siya to Archbishop Tibo Media Awards. So kaduhan na nga tuig karon.
It's 2024, last 20...
Yes.
Kung hindi sila on email submission lang ba or kung pwede baka mga old school na kailangan nila may paper.
Kung pwede mag-email dyan, okay. Naaman ko dito ang mga link, no? So para pag open po na mo, ibutang po na mo siya sa drive, then
na dito tanan. Okay, thank you so much to our guest, Lunar Pailoga of our ATMA, our Bishop Tibo Media Awards, and Sir Romeo Vasquez of DTI. There's the transportation para sa Davao Temple ng Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Sino ang gusto sumama sa ating temple tour, mga media press, yes, Mark. Party statement, we'll start with Sir Romeo.
Thank you, Sir Rodolph. And again, thank you to PIA 11. Again, we continue to encourage our consumers to be vigilant and to be informed. Follow the official Facebook pages of DTI. Tinadid to permi atong updates sa mga concerns or issues kalabot sa atong mga konsumante. And if ever na amoy makita nga overpricing of basic necessities and prime commodities, please do not hesitate to report it to DTI para atong maaksyonan. And again, we pray na maundang na ning crisis so that dili kayo maapektuhan atong mga konsumante, apil na po atong mga business establishment. Daghang salamat.
Sa mga kaubanan namo sa media, walay mawala sa inyo kung musubmit mo, but you will gain something, no? So, we really encourage you na mag-submit yung entry, no? So, looking forward na magkita-kita tapuhon, no, labi na sa the day sa awarding. Ang ato mga kaubanan din nga na-awardan na po. Okay, so congratulations in advance. Salamat kayo sa participation.
Okay, thank you so much to PIA, to SMCT Davao for again hosting our weekly kapehan. This is Huda Palamat with more relevant topics to discuss.